Right. Okay, we'll start. Good evening. I'm chairing the meeting, the Cabinet meeting this evening, Cabinet meeting with Basingstoke and Dean on the 26th of July. So welcome to my fellow Cabinet colleagues. I'll just go through the sort of the usual processes. There's no fire alarm scheduled for this evening. Therefore, as fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the building immediately. The fire exit is located to the rear of this room. We're in the council chamber. Go down the stairs and meet in the War Memorial Park. This meeting is being webcast, I hope. As usual, could we silence our mobile phones? Turning to the agenda for this evening, apologies for absence. We have apologies from Councillor Simon Bound and Councillor Rebecca Bean. Is that it? I think so. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Nope. Okay. We've got no member or public participation this evening. There are no urgent matters. Item 4 on the agenda is the minutes of the meeting held on the 5th of July 2022, and it's been agreed that those will be approved at the next meeting of the Cabinet on the 6th of September 2022. So we then come to the main item, which is the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. I understand that Councillor Vaux has got a question. So what I would suggest is, shall I introduce the report, and then if you'd like to ask your question, Councillor Vaux. So the background to this report is the UK's Shared Prosperity Fund, which was launched in April 22 by the government. It replaces the EU's structural funds and investment programme, and is a central pillar of the government's levelling up agenda. And the allocation for the country as a whole is £2.6 billion for local authorities, and this is money that is due to be invested by March 2025. The good news from Basingstoke and Dean's point of view is that we have an allocation of £1 million to invest through to 2025. The government has three key priorities which are associated with levelling up, and these correspond well with this council's priorities. These being communities in place, the importance of strengthening social fabric, supporting local businesses, that's creating jobs and boosting community cohesion, and people and skills. This is to the value of improving core skills to move people currently out of work into employment, and supporting disadvantaged people to access skills. So I think that we're envisaging that there will be initiatives to provide practical advice on energy use, reducing food waste, assisting families with their budgeting, a new apprentice grant scheme, and assisting local businesses to invest more in their workforce training and development. The government will need to approve our local investment plan, which has to be submitted very shortly, and I'm sure it will be, by the 1st of August, and the first payments are due from the 1st of October. The investment plan that we will be submitting has arisen following a number of meetings with Basingstoke Area Strategic Partnership, the Federation of Small Businesses, Enterprise M3 LEP, the BVA, and our local MPs. I'm sure that we will put the money that we receive to the government to good use in the years ahead. So I fully support this report, and hope the rest of the cabinet will join me in that. At that point, can I invite Councillor Vaux to ask her question?
Thank you very much, Chair. And thank you for this report, which is very interesting, and this fund looks as if it will have a great impact on people who need it, particularly around employment and businesses. I think it would be very, very welcome. It's a shame that more isn't available in years 1 and 2, but you know, I know that's not our choice, but I look forward to seeing the action plan. My question relates to 5.2 in the paper, where we're informed that the guidance states that a minimum proportion of the total allocation must be spent on capital expenditure. And I wondered how we might be approaching that. Thank you.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is invite our Chief Financial Officer to respond on that, because she's going to be tasked with implementing this, and so she will have at her fingertips, I've no doubt, the detail of this.
Thank you. Within the paper, under paragraphs 2.7 to 2.11, it particularly focuses on communities and place, and it's envisaged that the capital schemes will be identified as part of that part of the programme. It clearly identifies that the revenue and capital funding will be used for community-led interventions, but also they'll be based on the needs that have been identified by the communities themselves. And it does talk about building pride in place and community cohesion. But the sorts of things that it might be used for are things like tackling climate change, enhancing biodiversity, improving community facilities and infrastructure, enhancing local areas such as town and village centres or green spaces, or promoting physical and mental well-being. So whilst we don't know exactly what it's going to be used on, it could be used for a whole range of things. So those revenue and capital grants, depending on what items come forward, we'll then agree whether it's capital expenditure or revenue expenditure, but it's mainly focused on the communities element of the scheme.
Yes, thank you very much, and I think that would be extremely welcome. Thank you.
So the recommendation to Cabinet is to approve the proposed approach to allocating and spending the Council's allocation of the UK Shared Prosperity Fund as described in this report, to delegate the approval of the Council's Shared Prosperity Fund investment plan to the Executive Director of Corporate Services in consultation with the Leader of the Council, and to delegate the approval of the criteria and process for the grant schemes proposed in this report to the Executive Director of Corporate Services in consultation with the relevant Cabinet member. Do we have everyone's support for this? Thank you all very much. That really concludes the meeting, because there's nothing. We're not having to exclude the press, and there's no confidential or exempt items for information. So I would thank you all very much for your attendance, and look forward to